Artist Ethel Fisher's captivating portraits are deeply incisive studies into the human psyche. Wielding her brush like an author with a pen, each carefully posed figure has an unwavering gaze, which tells a compelling story. The profound eloquence of a single, powerful image by Fisher is as descriptive and absorbing as a character in an artfully composed novel. By layering her figures with strong architectural elements and colors, Ethel Fisher weaves a densely intricate and fascinatingly complex tale in each of her spellbinding portraits. Ethel Fisher was born in Galveston, Texas in 1923. While she had studied at the legendary Art Students League in New York and was later celebrated in Miami as a talented abstractionist, the majority of her artistic career took place in Los Angeles, where she exclusively painted figurative work. Over a 7-decade career, her true legacy is as one of the most exceptional portraitists of the 20th century. Her figures convey the kind of psychological complexity found in the work of Lucian Freud, who famously painted his subjects under painstaking, prolonged observation. Just as Freud peeled back psychological layers with every applied brushstroke, Ethel Fisher scrutinized her subjects to give an exterior form in oil paint to their vast interior depths. By placing them in richly colored and detailed environments, her subjects sustain a narrative intensity as seen in the works of Alice Neel. A self-described collector of souls, Alice Neel shares with Fisher a penetrating insight into her subjects' interiority. Her characters communicate a lifetime of accumulated emotion and experience that shaped their personal stories. Despite the prevailing trends, Ethel Fisher was resolutely determined to focus for most of her career on figuration. This exhibition at LewAllen Galleries is the first time her monumental portraiture across more than 40 years is displayed together, demonstrating the development of her signature style over decades. Since her passing in 2017, daughter Margaret Fisher has been a steward of Ethel Fisher's legacy. She joined us to discuss her mother's work ahead of our exhibition, Portraits of the Sublime.
To me, her portraits are kind of pharaonic, like the pharaoh on the throne. But the flaring wings of the chair are really, they're almost like antennae, focusing your gaze on her face. She's presenting herself, and probably as psychological figure. So the psychology is all in the eyes, and then the book, and then what she's produced as a painter.
In this early self-portrait, Fisher asserts herself as a powerful artist. Having relocated to Los Angeles in 1969, Fisher embraces her momentous turn towards figuration and declares her ambition as a trailblazing visionary in the field. Examining herself at this critical point in her life, she plumbs the depths of her own struggles and emerges transformed as a goddess on her throne. A similar self-portrait in front of her New York fireplace is now in the collection of the Dallas Museum of Art. Fisher wrote of her portraits, "The warmer the psychological tone and the more mysterious the layers of meaning, the better it says what I want it to say. All art is art in my deepest consciousness. There is a coming together of the real world and the painter's vision." In their sublime beauty, Fisher's portraits transcend the specificity of her subject's biography and continue to engage the imagination. She achieves this through her astonishing use of color. Much more than a background, the vibrant color fields surrounding her subjects are as integral to our understanding as their poses or expressions. Ethel Fisher was acutely sensitive to color and its connotations, writing, "I believe that painting is primarily color. Color is charged with a psychological, evocative power. You feel through color." The vibrant double portrait of American abstract painters Paul Jenkins and Alice Weber, with its prominent yellow space, could be considered in this light. It was executed around the time of the couple's separation. Fisher wrote, "The double portrait allows me a close, almost voyeuristic scrutiny of relationships, a subject that fascinates me. How do couples work? How do two people assert and adjust themselves? How can one be alone and not alone at the same time?" To capture the, quote, psychological resonance of her subjects, Ethel Fisher preferred utilizing family members and artist friends over professional models. By placing them within their familiar environments, she stated, "I aimed to encapsulate both intimacy and alienation, seeking the exact essence and resemblance of my subjects without resorting to flashy techniques or emotional overdoses." Her many portraits of Paul Thek, often in his studio, are consummate examples of such sincere portrayals of human experience. The influential and highly significant American artist Paul Thek befriended Ethel Fisher in the 1950s in Miami, and they remained close throughout Thek's life. In her portraits of Thek, Fisher riffs on his artistic styles and choices. This surrealist, dreamy double portrait was created in the same year as his most famous work, The Tomb, an installation of a pink-suited effigy of himself ensconced in a pink ziggurat tomb. This revealing painting depicting Paul Thek in his studio may have been inspired by a photograph taken by Thek's lover, renowned American photographer Peter Hujar. Hujar's photographs are currently exhibiting as part of the 2024 Venice Biennale. For over 40 years, famed American artist Will Barnet taught generations of aspiring artists at the Art Students League in New York, including a young Ethel Fisher. Depicted in an elegant suit paired with a lively necktie, Fisher memorializes her teacher as not only a revered authority, but also as a close friend. "Dear Ethel," he wrote in a 1966 letter, "please don't settle in California. We need you in New York. Your work has been going so wonderfully, and you are due for a big show here. Besides, it would kill me to see you in a blonde wig, pink slacks, and holding a white poodle. Why don't you just make it the subject of your next painting and come back here?" Since her passing in 2017, Ethel Fisher's significance to American figurative painting has become all the more evident, and museum acquisitions have accelerated in just the past few years. In addition to the Dallas Museum of Art, Ethel Fisher's works can be found in the permanent collections of such institutions as the Los Angeles County Museum of Art, LACMA, the Museum of Contemporary Art in San Diego, the Fairfield University Art Museum in Connecticut, the Metropolitan Museum of Art, the Morgan Library and Museum, and the Jewish Museum, all in New York, and Oklahoma City Museum of Art, among many others.
She wanted to be recognized on the level of the men artist. She wasn't going to settle for anything less.
Of her portraiture, Ethel Fisher stated, "I am trying to create a set of characters that would have the depth of characters in novels." The results were sophisticated, unsentimental portraits whose fascinating human psychological elements transcend the particulars of their subjects to hold enduring, universal appeal. Like the great portraitists in art history, her revelatory choices of color, composition, and setting only just begin to illuminate her subject's complex interior world. With confidence and clarity of vision, Ethel Fisher stands as one of the most outstanding American portraitists of the 20th century.